Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking about the books that I've been reading this past year. So if you want to see what books I've been reading this year, then please do keep on watching. So this year, with everything that's going on, I've been able to do more reading. I've really got back into being a creative me again, with reading and writing, poetry and stuff like that. But I was an avid reader growing up, and I'm still glad that I've gotten back into it. So I'm going to be talking about these books. You know, it might not be your cup of tea, that's fine. Sometimes you don't know what a book is like till you start reading it. Or you might not like the person that's written it, but you might still enjoy the story. Or if it's a story or if it's real life, then that's, you know, we all like what we like. Some might be a bit dark for people, some are just, so I hope you enjoy hearing what I've been reading, what I like and stuff like that. So the first book is The Tattooist of Auschwitz. Now it's a story about a Slovakian Jew called Lil Sokolov, who fell in love with a girl who he was tattooing in the camp. And it's a nice tale. Well, as nice as it can be within a concentration camp. It's amazing that people did fall in love with that, with the way things were. Things were just awful. And you hear so many times about World War I, World War II and the Nazis and how many people killed. But it's not often you hear about stories of the actual prisoners of camp. I've seen other people had read this book, so I felt like, oh, maybe it's something I'd like to read. And I did a bit of a thing where I'd be watching quite a few programs about Nazis and Jews, and then reading about them as well. So this was published in 2018, and it's written by Heather Morris. Now, some of the things in the backstory might not be accurate because it's focused on Lil and what she knew about Lil. I hope I'm pronouncing the names right. But yeah, I thought it was really moving. I really enjoyed it in a weird sense, because who doesn't want to fall in love, and you fall in love in the most surreal circumstances, the most brutal circumstances. And yeah, I really enjoyed hearing their story and what happened. And yeah, so I do recommend this book. And now there's another book that looks very similar, and that's a Librarian of Auschwitz. Now I thought it was by the same author, but it's not. This is by Antonio Iturbi. I don't know if I've said that right. This is the story of a girl, and she was quite young when she got put into the camp to begin with, and she risked her life to keep the magic of books alive during the Holocaust at the camp. And she was called Dita Kraus, and she introduces, you know, a few characters, just like in The Tattooist, you know, introduction of other characters, and her bravery in, you know, because books were not allowed. Nothing was allowed. They're lucky they got a bit of bread and slop. You know, they'd fight for whatever bits of food they can get. Because that's how dire how bad, how horrific it was. Compared to The Tattooist, I did prefer The Tattooist. But I really enjoyed hearing about this young girl. And, you know, it makes the concentration camps more real, that they're not just people, they're not just numbers of people that died. You know, they've all got a life to tell, we've all got a life to tell. And I feel thankful that, you know, these were able to share their stories. This was published in 2012. Please do check out these two books. I think you'll enjoy them. You'll find them moving and somewhat a little bit upsetting because of some of the things that you'd read about what they'd witnessed and stuff. So now the next book is Serial Killers true crime. Now, I couldn't find out, it didn't have who it was written by. I think it was just a collective piece of work. And it's just showing true crime cases of the world's most twisted serial killers and criminals. And in this book, you'll learn about 5 people whose desire to murder was sated. And you'll learn how they started, why they did it, and how they were captured. And you'll learn about Robert Black, Joan Corona, Bella Kiss, that's a male by the way, Earl Nelson, and Larry Eiler. I hope I said them all right. And they're all in America, and it kind of gives you a bit of info about the victims, but not too much, and what happened and how they were captured and stuff like that. It's not a long read, but it's still interesting. Now, I'm fascinated by why serial killers do the things they do, and it is in the mind, isn't it? It's, you know, it's nurture versus nature. And I've had a fascination with this kind of thing for quite a long time. I enjoyed this book, and I will keep reading more. There is a book that I do want to read, but I can't find it to download. Now, this book is called About a Girl, and it's about Georgie Stone, who, if you watch Neighbours, which is an Australian soap, that's on Monday to Friday, and it's been going on since 1985, I think. You know, Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, Holly Valance, Natalie Imbruglia, many other faces and names you'll know in the music industry that started from the show. Now, Georgie Stone started on Neighbours, I think about 2 years ago, and actually last year she got a permanent, you know, long-term contract, which is amazing. And she plays a great character called Mackenzie, and like herself, she's a transgender girl. Now, this book is written by Rebecca Robertson, who is Georgie's mother, and her mother sounds an amazing woman, inspiring and motivating, encouraging, and I wish that there was more people who had a mother like Rebecca. And so Georgie is the first transgender cast member, but Georgie also does advocacy work as well. But Rebecca wrote this part memoir, part inspirational message of hope for those navigating a similar path. And it really does start from when Georgie was born, and the struggles that they faced, especially Georgie, obviously. She was the one that was going through it. At times, I felt angry on their behalf. Like, why can't people just accept people for who they are and who they feel they are? So what the bullying that she faced and how she overcame it all. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for both Georgie and her mom. Some of the profit goes towards the Royal Children's Hospital Gender Service, and Rebecca founded Transcend, which is a support network for transgender kids and their families in Australia. Please do give this a read, because I'm an open-minded person. I'm accepting. I don't care if you're black, white, you know, wherever you are in the world, whatever your background is, all that matters to me is the personality. I know I have friends from all walks of life. Don't judge people on the outward appearance. It's purely on the heart and the personality. If I can accept people, why can't other people? You know, amazing story. And I'd love to have write another one, but more from her perspective of now, like what she's doing besides Neighbours, like how it felt, because apparently Georgie put forward having a character like Mackenzie on Neighbours, and then she got the part, and obviously it won't have been as easy as that, but yeah, I like Mackenzie. I think she's a good character, and I think she's showing the audience a deeper insight into what it's really like. You know, she's just a normal, typical young girl who wants to be with friends and music and, you know, follow her path in life. And just like any other person her age. So yeah, I do highly recommend this book. Now this next one, Joseph Mengele, A Life, which is like an autobiography kind of book. It was super short, which was really disappointing for me. I thought, oh, I'll get this, you know, find out more about him, you know, where he came from, why he's like he is, or was. And yeah, so I was a bit disappointed by the length. Now it's written by Rudolf Schlossberg, and he was studying under world-renowned scientists, and he rose from being a medical student to becoming the commanding doctor at Auschwitz. And he experimented on twins and infecting victims with diseases, sewing twins together by the arteries and veins. Absolutely horrific what he did on these victims. You just have to go on YouTube and type him. He was a horrible man. And he used his position to experiment these awful, horrific, sickening experiments on people. They weren't people, they were just lab rats, basically. That's all they were to him. He didn't care how, you know, that he hurt them. He didn't put any anesthesia to them. Oh, it was awful. If you don't know anything about him, then give it a read. But I think if you want to read more about him, then look for another book. Now the last book I'm going to be talking about is Louder Than Words, and it's by Jenny McCarthy. You might recognise Jenny from on TV radio host, and she's a former Playboy model. And she's also married to Johnny Wahlberg, who is a member of the New Kids on the Block, who were around in the 80s and early 90s, and then they came back 10-15 years ago, and they've done really well ever since. And he's in Blue Bloods. He's been in a few films like Saw, My Sixth Sense, I think that's called. Anyway, this book is about how her son, Evan, he was just a tiny infant when he started having seizures, and it follows his journey that they went through as he was having these horrific seizures, and he suffered many life-threatening episodes. And they were misdiagnosing him. And then finally one day, she saw a doctor who recognised his symptoms straight away and said it's autism. So, and she goes on a journey of how to help him and to pull him back. I can't remember the phrase that she used, but I knew that, you know, she had an autistic son. I've seen clips of him online. But to hear what happened from a mother's perspective, because I tried to forget about who she is and just focus on the story, and I just feel for her at times. You know, doctors weren't listening. They just see him as a patient, like most doctors just see as patients. And I found it interesting, and I could relate to it in many ways. And she has sparked controversy about vaccines. Yeah, maybe give this a book a try. See, she has got other books, but it took me a few days to read this, that's all. I'm glad I read it. I got to understand her a bit more, and understand what her and her son went through, because she was married at the time to Evan's dad, and he basically just wasn't interested when he started having these seizures, and the marriage broke down, and blah 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 blah. And these are the books that I have been reading. Now, have you read any of these books? What books would you recommend to me that you think I might like? So if you've enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to check out my Patreon. I hope you can support me if you can. You're brilliant if you can. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And thank you for watching, and take care. I'll see you all soon. Bye. Bye.